welcome back to the channel. It's a really nice day out today. I've got the 7 PRC out, and I'm going to shoot some 160 grain Hornady CX bullets. So I want to thank the guys at Hornady for sending these bullets over here to me to test out. Thanks Seth and the guys over there. I've become a bigger and bigger fan of monolithic hunting bullets. I've used the TTSX a lot in testing on the channel, and I've been very impressed with it. And I'm very interested to test the CX out and see what kind of velocities and groups that I can get over the next several videos. But today's video is all about the CX. So here in a minute, I'm going to be back at the house, and we're going to kind of talk about the bullet itself and kind of go over some of the numbers from today. But first, I want to shoot 5 ladder groups with 5 different powders. I just kind of want to see what kind of velocity that I might be able to expect. I've been shooting the 160 grain Norma tip strikes on the channel, and I've kind of got an idea of where I think I can get to. And so I'm going to shoot H1000, 4831, Grand, Mag Pro, and Vitivori N570. All right, so on Grand, I started out at 3045 and I worked my way up to 3150. The last two actually had the same velocity. There was the slightest bit of bolt lift pressure on the last couple. Nothing major, but it was there. It is around 72 degrees today. Very slight pressure, but definitely need to note that. All right, on Mag Pro, we started out around 3031, ended up at 3128. Once again, the last two had the slightest pressure. Nothing to freak out about at all, but definitely need to note that. Mag Pro topped out at 3128, and Grand actually topped out at 3150, and I actually had a half grain more Mag Pro than I did Grand. So H1000 started out at 2986, ended up at 3100. Slightly down on velocity, but pretty close still. The last one had the slightest bit of pressure. The first 4 really didn't, but the last one did. So I definitely will probably back up to that 4th one. All right, H4831 started out at 2980. I ended up at 3070. Kind of a similar trends happening here. The last one had a slight bit of pressure, but I would say enough to go back to the 4th shot, which was 3050. So slight bit of pressure on the 5th shot. In all honesty, all 4 of these ladder tests, I probably will discard the last shot, even though it wasn't terrible, just having a slight bit of pressure. So kind of seen very similar things here. Now 3070, or going back to the 4th one, 3050, is the lowest velocity so far, so nothing really shocking about that. It's probably the fastest powder that I'm using today, and the rest of these powders are slower. Let's go on now to the slowest of all in N570. All right, N570 started out around 3062 and ended up at 3146. Now I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. You're thinking I should be shooting like N560 or N565. It's potentially the case the N570, some of it's being unburnt because it's so slow. And I agree with you, but I don't have those powders currently. And I know that Reloader 26 is really good as well, but I don't have that. So yes, N570 could be too slow for a 160 grain bullet, but I got pretty much the same velocity as Grand and Mag Pro. It's pretty good, but two things were really good to note. One, I had no pressure even on the last one. So that was really cool. This is the only one I've shot today that I had no pressure. But I can tell you I can't put any more powder in it because it was very full. I didn't mention it before, but all of these are 50 thousandths from jamming in the lands. That one, the N570, especially those last two, probably were more like 40 thousandths because I don't think they went all the way in because of the having to compress the powder. So they're probably more like 40 thousandths off of the lands. But that last load gave me, 3140, no pressure, and was extremely full in the case fill. So that's definitely interesting to me. All right, I'm gonna head back to the house. We will look at all the numbers and we're gonna do kind of a close-up look at this bullet. As I stated, I didn't have any pressure with the N570. I did get into pressure on the other four, mainly on the last one of each ladder group, but this more or less is about where I got to on feet per second without pressure, and they all actually did pretty good. N570 definitely did the best, and so I'm pretty impressed with that. It was a heavily compressed load, and I never had any pressure at all. Is it possible that I had some unburnt powder because it's so slow? That is possible, but I'm pretty happy with that velocity. Now, even though these weren't groups, I was shooting at a target, and I'll tell you the H1000 just piled them all in there really tight together. And on the other two videos where I've used H1000 in the 7 PRC with different bullets, I got the best accuracy every single time. So I believe I'm going to go with H1000 and N570 going forward and shoot some groups and kind of see what I can get. I believe the best accuracy potential is with H1000, but I really like the case fill and the velocity I'm getting with N570. So I want to shoot some groups in a future video of those two powders and kind of see what I can get. This bullet is a pretty cool bullet. It's called the CX, which comes from the term copper alloy expanding. It really is like their old GMX bullet, but with some improvements. It provides uniform controlled expansion and deep penetration and around 95% weight retention. From every part of this bullet, from the me-plat on the heat shield tip to the ogive to the groove and all the way down to the boat tail, this has a lot of your Hornady touches that they've put on some of their other bullets, like their A-tips, their ELDM, their ELDXs, to give it a very streamlined and consistent performance. This particular bullet, the 160 in 7mm, has a great G1BC of 596. I think 160 is a really good weight for the 7 PRC. Generally speaking, with a monolithic type bullet, you're going to want it to be a little bit lighter and go just a little bit faster compared to, say, the 175 ELDX. With a monolithic type bullet, you definitely want it to be going fast so it can expand properly. Penetration, check mark. Weight retention, check mark. If there is an issue, it would potentially be if you're going really slow, say at really long ranges, it might not expand as much as other bullets. And so you typically want this bullet to be going pretty fast. And so lightening the bullet weight down to 160, for instance, is a good option. And really this is going to be a hard bullet to beat for, say, something like an elk or a moose. Those animals, especially, unlike deer species, are just a lot thicker. They're just a bigger bodied, thicker animal, and deeper penetration could be required to get to those vitals. So with a deer, you can really use just about anything. It's definitely going to work. And not saying you can't use another type of bullet for an elk or a moose, but this is the kind of bullet that really could do exceptional in those scenarios. All right, that was really fun. I'm glad I got to shoot these bullets and use different powders to see what kind of velocity that I could get. I will be shooting groups in future videos. Stay tuned for more content with the 7 PRC. Going to shoot these bullets. I've got some 175 ELDXs, some 180 ELDMs, and I believe I'm going to buy some Berger 195 EOLs as well. And who knows what else. I'm going to keep this series going for a while. So if you like these type of videos, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you think it's worth sharing. Comment below. What's your experience with the 160 grain CX? If you've reloaded for it, what powders did you use? I'd love to hear about it. Hopefully you have a great day. Until next time, take care.